once began as a test for man has turned into a fury of pulling power. From air-launching monster trucks to the quest for speed and time, the unlimited matching of wheels and motors has sent us spinning into the world of wheel power, power-packed motorsports. It's the excitement of power that puts man on the edge and the quest for victory that takes him over.
Welcome to Wildwood, New Jersey, and the first running of Thunder on the Beach. Wildwood, the southernmost barrier island in New Jersey, played host to a weekend of family fun. This two-day event played host to some of the best monster trucks in the racing business. Stay with us when we come back. We'll show you the first round of monster trucks running right here on Thunder on the Beach. Welcome back to Wildwood, New Jersey for the first time ever monster truck racing on a beach. And on this beach right here, monster trucks have been crushing cars and running for the past 25 years. But this kind of a brand new experiment, and the team's a little bit leery about getting into it. Side-by-side monster truck racing going off the green flag, and whoever wins heads on to the next round. The loser goes back to the trailer. First up, we've got the Warrior out of Pennsylvania and the Devil's Dodge, driven by John Seasock, also out of Pennsylvania. This is going to be a good first-round matchup. The key here, how they get the horsepower transferred to the ground. Running on sand, we may see some tires slip here a little bit as they come off the line. The whole shot as they respond to the green flag. Over our two sets of jumps, and then the finish. Three distinct parts of a monster truck track: the start, the jumps, and the runoff area or the finish. All of them very, very important. Keeping that vehicle under control and putting all that horsepower down to the ground. The trucks weighing 10,000 pounds and producing 1,500 to 1,800 horsepower. First round matchup, the Warrior in the far lane up against the Devil's Dodge in the near lane. And it's going to be the Dodge taking home the win. John Seasock takes home the first round victory. He'll move it up, and he is into the barrier right there. Again, that run up so very, very important, keeping that truck under control. He'll take the win, and he'll move on into the second round. As we continue with round number one, out of New Jersey, it's the UFO, piloted by Bob Fisher, a hometown hero here, driving the UFO Ford. He'll match up against Gary Bauer out of Vienna, Ohio, this Buckeye behind the wheel of the Nitemare Ford. So it's the Blue Oval Bunch going to tangle here in the first round as we've got side-by-side monster truck racing in Wildwood, New Jersey on the beach. A beautiful afternoon for motorsport competition. And a new wrinkle to monster truck racing, running it on the sand. Ford versus Ford here in round one action on Thunder on the Beach. And the UFO takes the win. Another first round in the books right there. A nice run off the very beginning of the line and a great landing for the UFO, and Bob Fisher moves on to the next round. Next up, we have the Monster Patrol with an old mud racer behind the wheel, Tom Meents out of Paxton, Illinois. 2.5 years as a mud racer, just getting into the monster truck scene. Watch him coming off the start. He will match up against Wildfire. That Wildfire, the Chevrolet, driven by Carrington out of Connecticut. The Wildfire matches up against Tom Meents and the Monster Patrol. Another battle here on the whole shot, taking over the part of no man's land and landing these trucks. This will be a good one. Meents in the near lane, the far lane, Carrington. Maybe a bit of an upset win right there as Carrington will move into the next round as he puts the Wildfire Chevrolet one step closer to victory. Meents got left on the line. A late lead by the Monster Patrol. Rolling out of the staging lanes next will be the Snakebite Ford, driven by Ricky Rattler out of Cobra Creek, Colorado. This is a good first-round matchup as he meets Gary Wiggins out of Wadesboro, North Carolina, in the Carolina Crusher. The first real heavy-duty Ford versus Chevrolet matchup. This is going to be a big one here as these two guys probably bring the two best trucks in the first round together. Snakebite in the far lane, and in the near lane, Gary Wiggins and Carolina Crusher. Wiggins in the Crusher had a little miss coming to the line, maybe an ignition problem on the way. Snakebite takes the win. Wiggins with problems off the line. The ignition just not coming up to full song, so the Snake moves into the next round. He's the fast Ford on this Chevy versus Ford battle. Snakebite into round number 2. Next up, it is Alan Pezo and the Predator out of Millington, Michigan, a young gun who's got this truck running real well this year. He'll move up against Lonnie Childress out of Hazelwood, Missouri in Bigfoot number 10. Bob and Marilyn Chandler's reign of Bigfoot trucks has come down, and this truck in the far lane to Bigfoot Ford up against Alan Pezo in the Predator. Still in round number 1, Thunder on the beach to find out who's the best in the business. A great effort in there for Bigfoot 10, and another Ford moves into round number 2. Pezo with problems right off the start. He'll have to see if he can get them fixed to come back and race yet another day. Wrapping up the first round, a matchup here in round number 1. It's David Morris out of Springfield, Tennessee, aboard the Equalizer, and Dennis Anderson in the Gravedigger out of Poplar Beach, North Carolina. Anderson, one of those guys that will just let it all hang out all of the time. This should be a pretty good matchup. Morris has run pretty well in the last couple of weeks in the Equalizer. Again, Dennis Anderson, Gravedigger in the far lane. David Morris, the Equalizer, right in the near lane. Off the line early at Equalizer, but the Gravedigger and Dennis Anderson comes back at the top end to take the win. Dennis Anderson puts the Digger into round number 2, and that wraps up round number 1. A come-from-behind victory by the Digger. The day is not over for the Equalizer. David Morris will come back into round 2. He was the quickest of the first round losers. Track conditions and vehicle setups will play a big part of round number 2.
I tell you, the track is it's a loose track and it's fun. I was a little disgusted during a race. I don't have the tires to hook up like I wanted to, and we're messing with a new motor, and I don't really like our cam design. But hey, other than that, man, the track's great. It's a great, safe place. Big wide open area, man. You can just go ahead and gouge on and get crazy with it.
Going to get down with it and get crazy as round 2 is coming up next. Stay with us as we return round 2 of Thunder on the Beach right here on Wildfire. Welcome back to Wildwood, New Jersey, and Thunder on the Beach. First round action in the books. Some breakage has caused a change in the lineup for the second round. Track conditions are holding up really, really well.
The track conditions here are pretty good. We didn't know what to expect, but the sand seems to have a little cushion to it, and the trucks can actually, once it jumps the first set of cars, we can bite into it and get it hooked up good to head for the finish line.
Well, the Devils Dodge and Wildfire had some mechanical problems. They can't come back. Carolina Crusher and UFO will match up in the second round. And this round right here starts off with David Morris in the Equalizer up against the Warrior out of Philadelphia. Now, we had breakage and we had some quick times turned in round number 1. So to get the field back on track, some guys have gone back to the trailer. Other guys are still going to continue. Picture-perfect run by David Morris in the Equalizer. Had a good start, didn't overpower the track, kept the tires on the track, and he picks up the win, and he moves on to the next round. The Warrior, a little bit of problem off the line, tried to get it a half track to come back to take the win, but it's not going to go. Morris, Equalizer, moves on to the next round. Gary Wiggins and the Carolina Crusher matches up right now against the UFO. This should be a good one. Some guys had some problems in earlier rounds, come back to battle here. Wiggins has been on the circuit for a number of years. Bob Fisher in the UFO out of New Jersey, the hometown hero, hopes to make it into another round right here on Thunder on the Beach. 10,000-pound monster trucks running on sand, and everything has turned out picture perfect as far as the competition surface is concerned. Bob Fisher out of New Jersey, the pilot of the UFO, hopes to become the hometown hero as he matches up against the circuit touring veteran Gary Wiggins and Carolina Crusher. The Ford against the Chevrolet. UFO, the Ford in the far lane. Crusher in the near lane. Wiggins will take the victory, but just by a bumper. The Crusher gets a good one there as they go side by side. Fisher goes back to the trailer. Gary Wiggins goes on into round number 3.
Well, basically, the track really worked out real good today, a lot better than we figured it would. I mean, it's basically kind of hard to work on something that really you've never been on before. And it was real puzzling, but really now, after we've been on it, I feel like it was a real great track. I mean, super great.
Well, that concludes our last chance qualifier round for those guys that need to get into the next round of competition. Breakage has been one thing related to mechanical failure, not necessarily to what's happening on track. Here comes the snake bite. Colt Cobra owns it. Ricky Rattler drives it, and they're ready for the next round as they match up against Bigfoot.
Yeah, we had a really good track out here today. We're just going to have to gear down. See, maybe if we can't keep down over the first set of cars, get some good traction between the cars, and just let the Ford motor come alive, pull itself out.
It's a battle of Ford versus Ford as Bigfoot comes to the line. Lonnie Childress up there on the far lane. In the near lane, it's Ricky Rattler in the Colt Cobra-owned snakebite truck. And real important here, you got to keep the tires down to the ground. We saw Gary Wiggins pick up a win in his last appearance because he kept the truck low. If you're in the air, it may look good for those Kodak moments, but you got to build horsepower. You got to have the horsepower transferred to the ground. Both of these two guys have ridden all over the United States on a number of different tracks, so this should be a great matchup here. Lonnie Childress, far side in Bigfoot. Ricky Rattler in the snakebite. A little advantage to the Ford. Bigfoot off the starting line, but Ricky Rattler made a good charge in snakebite towards the very end. Give the round to the Bigfoot truck. Lonnie likes this track because it's got a long distance in between the two car jumps, and he can get all the power out of that Bigfoot Ford motor.
Actually gives us a lot more time to correct the truck with the longer pass. This is the same track that you see the Point Series running. So it's a good track. It's a long track. Get the trucks up to speed and people get to see what's going on. But like I said, you got that much room between the cars, you got a lot more time to get the truck straight.
Gary Wiggins, the Carolina Crusher, boy, he's been lucky today. Had problems with the ignition in the early rounds, but was able to come back in the consolation round. He moves on right now up against David Morris.
Well, right now, as of today, what I'll probably do is now, because the temperature and everything down here, I'm going to kind of like lean the motor out a little bit, and I'll probably drop my tire pressure down a little bit. Change a few things on the truck that I didn't do today because I feel like I can do it without braking a whole lot. So I feel like this track here, though, is going to be real good. There's going to be some real good racing on it because the truck's going to really prepare for it tonight.
David Morris, the Equalizer, Gary Wiggins, his round opponent. These guys both have got everything dialed in, so it's going to be driving ability as opposed to driving style that's going to be able to find out who goes into the next round. Gary Wiggins, the far side out of Wadesboro, North Carolina, the Carolina Crusher. And out of Tennessee, it's David Morris in the Equalizer. Round 3 action here from WildWood, New Jersey, a thunder on the beach. As these guys get set to stage, it's going to be the whole shot and putting the horsepower in between the two sets of cars who will determine the winner. David Morris will take the win in the Equalizer. What a side-by-side matchup it was. Morris may have had the better driving style that time to get around the driving ability of Gary Wiggins. This one may deserve a better look as they came off the line real close together. Let's take one more pass at it. See him come off the line. Gary Wiggins and the Crusher very high, where Morris stays low to the ground. The horsepower transfer to the ground is what you need to become a winner right here on Thunder on the Beach.
The track here is a little bit longer than some of the outdoor tracks we run on. So what we'll do is we'll soften the shocks up, and that will absorb the ramp and the impact on the ramp, and we'll try to keep the truck lower to the ground instead of getting so much air.
Moving on to find out who's going to be the best of the beach. It is Dennis Anderson and the Grave Digger up against Tom Meents and the Monster Patrol. These guys are trying to work out their course setup and dialing in their vehicles.
Do a little change on our tires, on our fuel system as well, and I'm going to step the gear back down. I think I was running geared a little too high, and it really depends on the track. If we keep a lot of sun and wind blowing on, it's going to really be sandy and dry. If we can keep a lot of moisture in the track, we can get these big things to hook up and use our motors in.
Dennis Anderson may have the upper hand in this matchup. He's probably got more seat time than the rest of the field combined. This guy's been in monster truck racing for a whole lot of years. But don't take anything away from Tom Meents and Monster Patrol. He's a former mud racer, and he knows when the green flag flies, you put the pedal to the metal, and you try to get down to the other end. A good matchup here. Tom Meents in the near lane in the Monster Patrol out of Illinois, and the Grave Digger, Dennis Anderson behind the wheel out of North Carolina. Two real good but different type of driving styles on the way. This should be a good matchup here in the third round. Both drivers have had equal trips up and down the track. Both guys have had plenty of time to get their race set up. This will be a good head-to-head matchup here, and it's going to come down to driving style and who leads first. You may call it an upset. Tom Meents and the Monster Patrol takes it away from Dennis Anderson. They came off the line. Maybe Meents with just a little bit more coming off the line. Let's take another look at this one side by side at the best. And you can see it. Meents with a good lead in between the cars. With all the power on the ground. Maybe a little high at the end, but hey, he's moving on to the next round. He's a winner.
Oh, it was a fierce run between two great competitors, and I think we narrowly pulled it out at the end there. Oh, it's the one thing about it is you got so much distance, and when you come to the last cars, you're almost out of speed, and you nosedive a little bit down there.
Stay tuned when we come back to semifinals and the finals as Wheel Power continues from Thunder on the Beach. Welcome back to WildWood, New Jersey, where some 60,000 people have gathered to see the first ever running of Thunder on the Beach. Semi-final round action right now as David Morris brings the Pride of Tennessee to the line, that's the Equalizer, and Tom Meents and the Monster Patrol roll up right now. These two guys have had a pretty easy go of it so far today, but now it's going to be all on the line because you're one step away from winning the final round here. Lots of people having fun as they're cheering on their favorites to victory. The Equalizer, a Chevrolet, and a tough run. Have been running low, very, very close to the ground the entire time. Monster Patrol, well, he starts off with a good hole shot position, makes up some ground in between the cars, but he's been having a little bit of air towards the back end. Want to keep it low, horsepower to the ground. What a big win it is. We just take everything I said and throw it out the window because the Monster Patrol gets a great launch at the very end and picks up the semifinal round win into the finals. Tom Meents wheels the Monster Patrol to the next round.
Oh, you know, the teams are getting a little bit more used to this sand. It's the first time we ever ran out here, something like this. And all the trucks will be running a little bit better, and we've got a few little secrets up our sleeve yet.
Well, if you got any secrets, now's the time to reveal them as they get set for the finals. Bigfoot, Lonnie Childress brings it to the line. Now he will be going up against the Grave Digger. Some breakage and some things have happened here where guys cannot answer the call for the next round. So it's Grave Digger against Bigfoot here in the semifinal rounds. The winner will go on to meet the Monster Patrol. Great matchup here. Lonnie Childress in the far lane, in the Bigfoot Cruiser, up against Dennis Anderson's Grave Digger. Both these guys heads up competition. It's anybody's ball game. It's anyone's race to win or lose. It's all the Bigfoot Cruiser. Anderson gives it a good go at the very end, but Lonnie Childress is able to take home the win. He will match up against the Patrol in the finals here on Thunder on the Beach. But Dennis Anderson provided a good weekend. Let's take another look at it as they lead just about even. But then the Bigfoot Ford horsepower comes to the line and takes home the win. A little wheel stand there from the showman, Dennis Anderson.
Yeah, we usually don't run on the sand like this. It's a little bit different. We ran yesterday on it. Hooked up pretty good. Ramps kind of went away toward the semifinals there. We had to rebuild the ramps. I really don't think we're going to do a whole lot different. Maybe get through the gears a little faster, try to get the tire speed up, and hopefully we can take the win out today.
The finals for the first ever Thunder on the beach, and it's worked out very, very well. A challenge for drivers to figure out how to set up their vehicle for the sand. Not that the track's been bad, it's just tested their skill getting everything set up. You loosen your tire pressure up a little bit, you change some gears. That's what they're all doing. Tom Meents in the near lane, and in the far lane, Lonnie Childress in the Bigfoot Ford. It's the Ford versus Chevrolet matchup for the first time here in southern New Jersey, and it's going to be big. Exact same time, and it's going to be Monster Patrol by just a couple of inches over Bigfoot. You can term that a big upset. Tom Meents has been driving for the past 2.5 years. Lonnie Childress has been driving for Bigfoot for the past who knows how many years, and it just came down to leaving the line at the right time. Monster Patrol takes home the victory, the first ever here on Thunder on the Beach.
Oh, it was a fierce run between two great competitors, and I think we narrowly pulled it out at the end there.
Truck come out of the hole real good. You know, we cut a good light. Sat down real good over the first set of cars there. Looked real good in between. You know, I knew he was right there with us. I'd like to see the video myself. You know, I knew it was a close race, but they went ahead and gave it to Tom. They called it a dead heat there for a minute. So, like I said, I'd like to see the tape on it. But I'd like to thank Ford and BDS and Firestone. You know, they did a real good job for us this weekend. And thanks for having us out here on the beach. This was great.
I think everybody had a good time. I'm Doc Riley. Join us again next time for more.